Hey friends, I made a video today where I talked to you guys about why I thought how I think I got chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia, right? But I was reviewing that video and I realised that I failed to mention a really important point, okay? So, in that video I talked about how chronic stress led me to make bad decisions in my life and because I just couldn't think straight when I was highly stressed all the time, and I tried to deal with that chronic stress by doing extreme sports and also overachieving to the point where I put myself in dangerous situations that weren't really necessary for me to put myself in, and that's how I had, you know, the really bad accident that stuffed up my spine and pelvis, and that's how I had that damage from the acute exposure to the environmental pollutant, right? But what I didn't mention was what I think the role of my diet was in making me more susceptible to the environmental pollutant, and what I think that actually did to my body, okay? Like the combination of the poor diet and the exposure to the environmental pollutant. So again, because I was so stressed, I just wasn't even thinking logically about diet, and I see other people do it all the time, okay? And so I was having a lot of olive oil, I was consuming a lot of vitamin supplements, I was having a lot of animal protein, and I was taking fish oil, right? And I was not just taking one capsule, I was taking like 9 a day, because that's what I heard you were supposed to do, right? And I would diligently do these things. I would diligently consume olive oil because I believed it was good for me. So I had I would eat salt with everything. So I had a high oil, high salt, high vitamin supplement, high animal product diet. And I think also that contributed to my stress because I couldn't think straight. Honestly, looking back, I also couldn't think straight just because the high oils in my diet and just all the shit that was constantly pumping through my bloodstream, right? So, and I can see how just that would have made me, and combined with chronic stress, would have made me more susceptible to pollutants in my environment. You see what I'm saying? Like all sorts of pollution in my environment, okay? So I honestly think that if I was a low-fat vegan back then, I may not have been so vulnerable to damage. And so what I think actually happened to my body because of that exposure to that environmental pollutant is I honestly think that it damaged my nervous system and also to a certain extent my vascular system. And I just know, okay, I just know from living with the problem that, see, I feel that that's how also I got the fibromyalgia because of the damage to my nervous system, that controls your muscles and stuff as well, like, because I really didn't notice chronic muscle pain. I noticed joint problems before that, after the accident and before the exposure to the environmental pollutant, but I never noticed this really bad muscle pain until after what I believe was my nervous system was damaged and my vascular system was damaged. And I think that because of the chronic migraines that I was getting, the visual disturbance, the dizziness, all the neurological symptoms, right? And also the nausea to a certain extent, which is also part muscular. But I still had this spine problem before that exposure to the environmental pollutant, but I didn't have the nausea, right? So something changed after that exposure to that environmental pollutant that wasn't there before. So, and also, like, with the chronic migraines, like I said, like, and that's how I feel like maybe my nervous system and my vascular system hasn't healed entirely, because if it had, I think I could go back to eating shit and not get the migraines, right? But after the exposure to the environmental pollutant, I had chronic migraines 24/7 for the first year because I just still had the really crap high animal protein, high oil, high vitamin supplement diet. And it's only, like I said, since I've been low-fat, high-carb vegan, I've been able to get rid of those chronic migraines like 100%, right? So, like I said, if I'm exposed to a chemical these days, or I breathe in a chemical, I can get those migraines back in 20 minutes. So, like I said, if I feel that if my nervous system had healed, my vascular system had healed, I wouldn't have that problem, you see? So, I just wanted to add that because I was looking back on that video thinking, oh my God, I missed like one of the most important points, that. But again, and I think it came back to stress too, like not even thinking logically about my diet, just listening to mainstream society about what you're supposed to take and what's supposed to help you, even though I realise now it was making me sicker, but I didn't realise at the time, and setting me up also for an accident, like I was literally an accident going somewhere to happen, really, with the combination of the high stress and the poor diet, So, yes. So, well, thanks for that. Thanks for watching, and I hope this is interesting, and I'll see you later.